Good morning. It's Monday. For some reason, I got an issue with one of my streaming sources called Divergent. It's just not launching. Anyway, okay, so we're live. And the first thing I want to talk about is I'm going to show you where the market opened this morning versus where it closed. So Friday's close was 8632 in the FTSE, and we have a slight, almost unmentionable gap up, and the DAX closed at 22,986, and that's exactly where we are right now. Okay, I wanted to take you through Hang Seng. Hang Seng opens on this bar here, right here. This bar here, and we traded below the overnight range. If you can define that as the overnight range, I certainly would. Then school run triggers a short down here, although I am sort of thinking, do I want to take a short down the overnight range? If you had done the ante, and can I just say that this is entirely hypothetical because I was in deep sleep at this hour. I'm just, for those of you who are trading or have the opportunity to trade Asia, my word, there are some big moves very quick. Anyway, the ante would have been a real beauty, being a buyer down here below 24,099, and then seeing the top of the range. Australia. Well, Australia opens at this bar here. When it opens within the overnight range, meaning that an ante would set in place, being a seller above the second bar, which would be up here. And actually that turned out, it would have gone about 4 points against you, and then trading back into the range. And then finally Japan. Japan opens at this bar here. So this bar here. To me, it's difficult to establish what the overnight range is for an Asian index, because it will involve the US and Europe. But anyway, so there's traditional school run setting up along here. Okay. I'm going to delete these now, and I'm going to focus on Europe. I've increased the trading size in the FTSE now to 15, and I've increased the trading size in the DAX to 6. So I would love to be a buyer here of the DAX. I'm buying the DAX here at 22,959. I'm doing it because it's a first bar, or the last bar, positive. I'm just going to call that 960. And currently operating with a stop loss of 70 points. So what I did here is I saw the last bar before the open, which was this bar here, and I decided to be a buyer below. You can get the same sense of the purchase if you scale out on a 10-minute chart. So I'm a buyer here. Quickly gonna look at the FTSE. FTSE looks like it's gonna be a first bar negative. The Dow closed at 41,488. So it's down a couple of hundred points already. Going over to the FTSE, got a first bar negative, meaning I'm going to be a buyer. Below which was at 8638. May actually happen, it would seem. I'm buying the FTSE here. Alright, so let me show you what it looks like on my account right now. I've closed the DAX and I've closed half FTSE. I'm going to move stop loss up in the FTSE. And a little bit concerned about the pace. I'm just going to move stop loss to break even in the FTSE. Seemed like FTSE was just going down to test the low end of the range. The fill I got was let's have a look. Got filled at 34.1. The low was 33.8, but that's the mid price. So actually, this is just about the most perfect buy entry you will ever see. Damn. The lowest buy price you could get was 34.1, and I got filled at 34.1. You will never see a better fill than that, ladies and gentlemen, ever. Actually, my fill in the DAX was 80, not 83, sorry. Stopped out on the rest in the FTSE. It was the pace by which the FTSE traveled down there that made me decide, let me just be cautious, because I got a double position on both the DAX, which is why I also took profit in the DAX. But the trade in the DAX was essentially, I can probably show you best here, show you on a 10-minute chart. No, actually, I'm better than that. One sec. I can do it like this. Now I learned how to use this software. Here's the bar before the market opens. And I decided to be a buyer below. That's exactly what I did. And I just rode this up all the way up to 80. It went as high as 90. But I was going to be a buyer down here. If you see this on a 10-minute chart, you'll see exactly the same story, how I was a buyer below the last 10-minute bar. See, the DAX is unlike the FTSE. First bar negative and first bar positive doesn't work so well for that index. It has the opposite characteristics. What I then just noticed now was how the low on a 5-minute on that initial move down was 22,952. And the push, I can't actually quite see if it, anyway. So someone has asked me to explain why I risk 70 points to make 20 points. I'm not. I just always have 70 points up there. I always just have 70 points. And that's a reflection of how much I need as a risk parameter for the school run. But I wouldn't have let that travel 70 points against me. I was just about to move the stop loss up to about 20 points below this range, which would have taken my stop loss to about 920, as opposed to, what was the stop? 890. So the idea of being a buyer below prior bar low is not exactly new. If I take you to on a 10-minute chart to Friday's trading session, imagine your objective would be to buy the first attempt below a prior bar low. The closest you would get is over here around at 8:22, 631. You can do a double bottom, 633, and within 10 minutes it is at 686. You can also try here. You're being a buyer below prior bar low at 653. It goes against you to 637, but it ends up at 679 again. I'm not saying that this is something you can do every single time. Obviously, you need to learn to read the chart. If I take you to so let's try here. So this is on Thursday session. You're going to have an opportunity here to be a buyer below prior bar low at 4 bars into the session. Previous low was 486. You get an opportunity to buy as low as 473, and within 10 minutes it is about 100 points higher. It's an approach that I use when I scalp, although our definition of scalping may be very different. Just want to cast your view over to the FTSE and why I am so quick to move my stop loss up to break even. The FTSE triggered a first bar negative buy signal here at 8,638. If I had not moved my stop, I would be sitting here sweating with a 15 points on the wrong side. This is the point where I go in and I look at the daily chart. And the reason why I look at the daily chart is that the FTSE has a very clear tendency to never want to overlap. What I mean by that is that whenever you see the market do a push up like you're doing today, the odds are very high that the market is going to go back and fill. And so I don't think it was a complete coincidence that where we finished on Friday was at the body low on the way down there. And so I imagine, and this is just a pure speculation on my part, as is always when you're talking about something that hasn't happened, is that 8582 or even 8602 is where we're headed. And so if we get to 8602, call it 8600, that could be a place to be a buyer. If you believe in the market being positive. which of course is the big if here. Is this just a correction? If you want to do a little Fibonacci magic, and why not? I think I did that the wrong way around. 1 second, let me just delete that and do it from the top. Dragging it from here to here. Well, it's not exactly a 38% retracement. It's more than that. I'm not a Fibonacci believer, meaning that I will look at it dispassionately, wondering, well, do the other traders believe in it? All right. Let's go back to the DAX. Let's get rid of these lines here and this here. DAX is stronger today than the FTSE. That is just about as near as triple bottom as you'll ever see, huh? 36, 37, 37. Just excuse me for 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So here's the DAX on a 15-minute chart. Now let's look at the context of the DAX to the overnight range. We are currently trading within the overnight range. We've had overlap bars. And we got about 3 minutes to go. Very strong performance of the DAX. Trading well below the overnight range. Well, let's say that the overnight range is defined as, let's get rid of this closing price and let's draw this. And let's pick a nice fluorescent color. Let's define the overnight range as that's sort of roughly how I would define the overnight range. Then we came down and we tested 4 times on a 15-minute chart the overnight range. There, and again. I can almost say with guarantee that it would be strange if we're not seeing the top of the range being poked. I just want to take a screenshot of this and post. Yeah. I can tell you that I was seriously contemplating being a seller in the FTSE above 8634, which is the high or the low bar. I actually did it on my own account behind the scenes, but I decided, let me just see here in case it's one of those really violent FTSE moves. And yeah. But then I'm quite quick to take my loss, which incidentally was right there. It's like, oh yeah, so it's one of those mornings. Great. let's go over to the FTSE. Sorry, let's go over to the DAX. So here's the DAX. Let's get rid of the aggressive school run and just look at normal school run. So normal school run is triggering along just at the above end of the range. If we get above there, we should technically be selling because we are inside the overnight range. It is, however, very close to the top of the overnight range. Quick over to the FTSE, see how we're trading below prior bar low. I could be tempted, maybe in smaller size, to be a buyer here. So I'm doing that, just being a buyer below prior bar low. But I did it in smaller size. Uh, 8635.3. 8612 for now. That's not going to be the final stop loss. I'd show you of that. We're going to have to move that up. Let's go over to the. I wanted to do the same in the DAX, but there is no prior bar low. There is that one up there, but that's. So what I have to decide. Let's just give you an idea of what's going on the account. I did a smaller size in the FTSE. So what's going on here is I have to make a decision on, do I short up here because it's an anti, or do I not? And considering we have just retraced, I'm seriously contemplating not following the anti, but just following the traditional school run. The upside though, do you see how we're hovering around the flat line? So yeah, this is going to be a difficult one to decide. Don't forget the sheer size of the stop loss. We're talking about 100-point stop loss right now. I would probably use half that, or use the close on Friday as the parameter for the stop loss. Just to show you the FTSE is just sort of bobbing along a little bit here. I'm going to reduce the stake size a bit. Dow is at this time of the morning, it's not a reliable proxy for what the European markets will do. It just isn't. Tempting as it might be to look at it, don't. All right, so here we go in the DAX. Let's have a look at that. Damn, that's gonna be. Oop. I decided to buy. It says it should say anti, but how the price action were, I decided to do the opposite, and it looks like so far that that was the wrong decision to do. The reason why I decided to be a buyer was because of how close we were to the top of the overnight range. I hope that my read of the price action is gonna come right. Come on, DAX. Just want to show you the FTSE, and here's the overnight or the overall account view. I am tempted to buy the FTSE again. DAX is struggling to push higher, but come on. Here's a daily chart, so it gives you perspective. Yes. Come on, DAX, lots of fresh air up there. Go on, my son. Oh, look at that FTSE. Let's take a look at the whole. So reduced size in the FTSE, bought below prior bar low. And the DAX is struggling like my father's cars a long time ago, which was always going. Do you see how we reached the top end of the range? I really don't want to have a stop loss of 70 points in the DAX. We are at the high end of the range. I'm closing my DAX. I'll focus on the FTSE. Love to see that. See, we're so close to the top end of the range in the DAX, so in the FTSE, so please stand by. And I closed the FTSE. All right, let me give you an update of what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades. One stopped out at break even. Chickened out of the DAX for a few points because of the dynamics of the overnight range. An absolute beauty of a FTSE entry, buying below prior bar low. So overall 32 plus 120, 0, 14 and 60. So what's that? Started at 19,488 and now at 19,717. Okay. All right. So that was 40 minutes worth of trading. I'm happy to leave it at this. Let me see if there's any questions. Okay, so Gareth says, is there a newer version of the software? Gareth, I like you, like everybody else who's interested in the software. Could you please, I'm going to post this in the Telegram channel now. Could you please go to this channel there and then ask support when you're there for any updates? Thomas says, I trade the Nikkei, la-di-da-di-da, prior bar low in the FTSE. What's the reason we didn't take the first prior bar low, prior bar high after the 4 bear? Oh, well, I did that for myself and I lost PST. So, yeah, consider yourself lucky that I didn't post that trade. Good morning. La-di-da-di-da. Martin. Well, Martin, you are welcome. So what we do this for, isn't it? We're here to help each other. Okay. I really enjoyed watching. You have helped me. You are welcome. Ooh, this is someone from Skiathos Island in Greece. I've never heard of Skiathos Island in Greece. Sounds wonderful. And then Yusuf is posting a YouTube video, which I can't be bothered to watch because Nils is saying, well done on increasing the trading size. Well, had to happen at some point, Nils, didn't it? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think my job is done here for now. That was a difficult one in the DAX this morning. At least I made an executive decision. Just am I now negative the DAX? No, absolutely not. It's just this is what it looks like. Overnight range, we hit the top end of the range. I think I was quite lucky, at least for now, to get out of that one without any major damage. So there you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I never said that these sessions would be marathon sessions. They are designed to illustrate how you, with the use of pre-specified ideas and a little bit of market wizardry, can navigate the markets in the morning without having to spend an inordinate amount of time. Of course, I don't get it right all the time. Of course not. Look at this DAX now, plowing ahead just like I knew it would. Wink, wink. But for Monday morning, I will leave it at that. I think the trading was okay. 20 points in the DAX. 4 points in the FTSE. Then stopped for 0, which is good money management. Then a few points in the DAX again, which is up there, much higher now. 15 point. And then a really good trade in the FTSE, but that's lower size, a stake size. So there you go, inching towards my initial target of reaching 20,000 this week, which will be a doubling of my account under live trading circumstances. Someone asked me, why you're not on camera anymore. I said, do you really want to see me with a bad hair day in the morning? There's nothing to it. I'm sorry that Divergent didn't work this morning. I'm going to try and get that fixed. Thank you so much for being here. As always, it's lovely to have someone to trade with. And I'll see you at the US session. So a relatively short session this morning of just 46 minutes, but executing 1, 2, 3, 4 trades and making approximately, call it £250 on this account here. All right. Many thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Stay strong. Bye-bye.